Okay.
Perfect. Good. So I just want to welcome everybody to today's webinar on the subject of China's lithium-ion battery market, brought to you by CCM, the leading provider of data and business intelligence on the Chinese market. My name is James, and I'm going to be, hosting the webinar today, and I'm joined today by Jeff Tan, one of our product experts. Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, everybody.
So let's just get right to it, and we'll get started. For the last few months, Jeff has been working on CCM's lithium-ion battery coverage, including our new industry e-journal, or e-journal, you know what that is, electronic journal, China Lithium-ion Battery e-News, which is a monthly publication that we're producing on an ongoing basis, and our market data service, where you can find comprehensive data on all sorts of subjects, such as producers of lithium chloride, lithium carbonate prices, and so on. CCM is also planning to extend our company profile and full industry report services to the lithium battery industry in the near future. So I'm sure he's going to be very busy over the next few months. So welcome, Jeff. So for the next hour or so, and actually, to be frank, for those of you on the call, the presentation will probably be between 30 and 40 minutes. So we've shaved it down quite nicely for the listeners. Jeff is going to take us on a whistle-stop tour of the lithium battery industry supply chain, upstream, downstream, and across China and around the world. And he'll share with us how he sees China's lithium battery market developing over the next few years. First, Jeff will give us a quick overview of the current state of China's lithium-ion battery industry and where China fits into the global market. Then we'll move on to consider the rise of the alternative energy vehicle market and how this will affect the lithium-ion battery market here in China. And lastly, we'll head upstream to zoom in on the lithium-ion battery materials market and how developments in this market will impact both the lithium-ion battery and EV, or electric vehicle, markets. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do a Q&A during the webinar, just because we want to manage our time a little bit. But if you do have a question that you would like us to answer, you can just type it in the chat box in the bottom right corner of your screen, and we'll get back to you by email as soon as possible with an answer. Or, of course, you can just send your question by email, and the email address you want to send it to is econtact@cnchemicals.com. So the CCM website, which is cnchemicals.com, and then the email name is econtact. So econtact@cnchemicals.com. And, of course, we'll reply to that email as quickly as we can. During the presentation, I'll mute the microphones, as sometimes, especially if a number of people are dialing in, we may have issues with background noise, of course. If you are dialing in, we'll do our best to describe the contents of any data contained in the slides as we go along, and the whole presentation will be available for download. That is, the PowerPoint file will be available for download after the webinar is finished. Okay, so let's get started. Jeff, let's start with a quick overview of the current situation in the global lithium battery market. How has the industry been developing in recent years?
Well, the industry has been growing very quickly in recent years. From 2003 to 2015, the global lithium-ion battery industry's revenues has grown quickly from 5.31 billion to 27.55 billion, with a compound annual growth rate of 17.89%.
Wow, so that's very fast growth. Why has this industry been growing so quickly?
Yes, the rapid growth of the global lithium-ion battery industry is mainly caused by the rapid growth of related downstream industries. Since 2009, there has been a huge increase in demand from the consumer electronics industry in particular. At present, the main downstream demand for lithium-ion batteries is still coming from the consumer electronics industry. The growth rate has declined a little bit, but still remains relatively stable. In addition, it should be noted that two major emerging industries are commanding for a higher and higher proportion of downstream demand. the new energy automobile industry, and energy storage system industry.
Great. And which countries currently dominate this industry?
Let's take a look at the output proportion pie chart. As you see, the industry is currently dominated by three countries: Japan, China, and South Korea. According to CCM's statistics, in 2013, the total output of these three countries accounts for about 93% of global lithium-ion battery production. In terms of where production is located, the situation has changed in recent years. Before, Japan accounted for more than 80% of global lithium-ion battery industry, whereas now a three-horse race has formed between China, Japan, and South Korea. According to statistics, in 2013, the total lithium-ion battery output of China, Japan, and South Korea accounts for about 93% of global production.
Okay, and what about the future?
CCM forecasts that more and more demand will start to come from the electric vehicles, energy storage, and other emerging industries, while growth in demand from the consumer electronics market is expected to remain relatively stable. This means that global market demand for lithium-ion batteries will see a huge growth, from around 67 million kilowatt hours in 2014 to over 131 million kilowatt hours in 2016, a compound annual growth rate of 39.85%. In 2016, global lithium-ion battery industry revenues will exceed $35 billion.
Okay, so tell us more about this China, Japan, South Korea dynamic.
Sure. Among these three dominant players, Japanese market share is decreasing, whereas South Korea has taken up Japan to become the world's largest lithium-ion battery market and now accounts for the biggest proportion of the global market. At the same time, China's lithium-ion battery industry is developing rapidly, is taking up an increasing share of global market. In the near future, it is expected to narrow the gap with Japan.
So how quickly is China catching up with the other two?
Pretty quickly. For example, the average annual growth rate of Chinese lithium-ion battery industry is 10 to 13% higher than the global average. The lithium-ion battery production capacity is gradually transferring to China. At the same time, all the major Chinese lithium-ion battery brands, such as Tianjin Licheng Battery Stock Company, BYD Company, Shenzhen BAK Battery Company, and Ampex Technological Company, their products are also gradually starting to make a difference in the global market. It is estimated that by 2018, China's lithium-ion electronic industry's revenues will exceed $10 billion, accounting for at least 28% of global revenues.
So what do you expect China's lithium-ion battery industry to maintain? Why do you expect China's lithium-ion battery industry to maintain such rapid development?
Obviously, the rapid growth of the domestic alternative energy automobile industry will be a high drawing force to development of China's lithium-ion battery industry in 2014. In terms of three key raw materials used to manufacture a power lithium-ion batteries, the average new energy vehicle will require the usage of about 30 kilograms of cathode materials, 50 kilograms of lithium-ion battery electrolyte, and 40 kilograms of anode materials. Now let's have a look at the global revenues of the lithium-ion battery industry. From the chart, we can see that global lithium-ion battery industry revenues have been increasing during this decade. Moreover, the power lithium-ion battery industry has been occupying an ever greater proportion of total global lithium-ion battery industry revenues. As you see, from 2010 to 2014, the power lithium-ion battery industry has enjoyed substantially growth, and we estimated that from 2014 to 2012, the proportion of revenues accounted for by the power lithium-ion battery industry will continue to increase. Moreover, we predict that by 2018, global lithium-ion battery industry revenues will exceed $40 billion.
So you expect China's alternative energy vehicle market to grow rapidly too?
Yes, and in fact, it is already growing rapidly, although of course from a low starting point. This chart shows the 2014 output of Chinese alternative energy vehicle industry. Using data sourced by China Associated Automobile Manufacturers and CCM. According to the statistics, between January and September 2014, Chinese alternative energy vehicle manufacturers produced a total of 38,522 units and sold out of 38,163 units, almost 300% more than during the same period in 2013. But at present, the rapid development of China's new energy automobile industry will still cannot do without policy support from the Chinese government. In particular, the first quarters of 2014 saw the introduction of large number of favorable policies by both nation and local governments, which demonstrate the determination of China government will accelerate the development of the new energy automobile industry. Let's take a quick look at some of recently implemented policies here.
So you can see from this chart, we're not going to talk a lot about it. From these two slides, there have been a lot of developments on the policy side, on the part of the government in terms of supporting these industries. And business and politics is the same in China as it is where you folks probably are in the West. A lot of industries require support from the government in terms of policy to give industry the proper kind of incentives to grow. Of course, again, China, just like the West, the government often does investment in infrastructure and new industries, new technologies, and of course, issuing policies that support these things. And these policies come both from at the national government level as well as regional and local governments as well. And you can read this in more detail when you get your copy of the PowerPoint. Okay, Jeff, so do you think this policy support will continue in the future?
It is predicted that during the 13th five-year plan, China will keep on issuing favorable policies concerning the alternative energy automobile industry, indicating that China is determined to accelerate the development of alternative energy automobile industry. Definitely, the rapid growth of the domestic alternative energy automobile industry will be a driving force in the development of lithium-ion industry in 2014. However, several problems exist in the industry, and the perspectives for the long-term development of Chinese alternative energy automobile industry may not be so promising.
Okay, really, why do you say that?
And even in the face of all the current optimism surrounding China's alternative energy vehicle industry, CCM believes that Chinese lithium-ion battery industry at present is not competitive enough with Japan and South Korea in the fields of high-end applications, such as power lithium-ion battery cells, electrolyte materials, and other aspects. Chinese lithium-ion battery industry is still being held back by a significant disadvantage in insufficient competition. Therefore, CCM believes that in the long term, the current policies being pursued by the Chinese government can hardly promote the healthy and sustainable development of China's alternative energy automobile industry. After all, individual consumers, the main consumers for alternative energy automobiles, value two things above all else: cost effectiveness and better life. This is a problem for Chinese alternative energy vehicle manufacturers, as although power lithium-ion batteries are of much concern in China, China's research and development in this area is lagging behind in the international competition.
Okay, why do you think this is so?
Well, one big problem is that Chinese lithium-ion battery manufacturers are struggling to retain high-profile foreign clients. In the past, Chinese companies in several industries have learned a great deal from their clients, and these relationships have allowed them quickly to move up the technology ladder. However, the approach to R&D development is currently almost impossible in lithium-ion battery industry, as the Western, Japanese, and Korean companies are not placing long-term book orders. These Chinese manufacturers' own investment in R&D are quite limited, so this is the big problem for them.
Okay, I see. Why are the Chinese companies struggling to retain these clients?
Industry insiders we have spoken to have to tell us that even so many alternative energy automobile manufacturers have purchased Chinese manufacturers' power lithium-ion batteries in the past. These deals are often just used as a bargaining chip in negotiations with foreign suppliers. Once the automobile company has successfully negotiated a better deal with the foreign battery supplier, they will simply stop doing business with the Chinese company. Another problem for Chinese companies is that many strong overseas enterprises engaged in power lithium-ion battery business have started to set up plants in China, as they are also benefiting from the preferential policies implemented by some local governments. Therefore, Chinese power lithium-ion battery industry will face increasingly intensified threats from overseas competitors. Overall, we believe that neither the government policies implemented nor the action of Chinese enterprises themselves struck that Chinese companies are developing fast enough to build market-leading alternative energy vehicles in the near future. In terms of mastering the core technologies needed to build advanced alternative energy vehicles, Chinese manufacturers are still lagging behind.
Okay, given these shortcomings, do you think that China's lithium-ion battery industry can overcome these competitive disadvantages?
Yes, I think so. One reason I'm confident is that although Chinese manufactured lithium-ion battery products are correct not competitive enough in the international market, Chinese manufacturers will boost by the rapid development of Chinese lithium-ion battery material industry. Manufacturing anode and cathode materials, battery membranes, separators, and electrolyte is starting to take off in the big way in China. Investment in this increasing. Production is growing in scale. And crucially, the technology in this industry is development. And this progress will raise the core competitiveness of China's lithium-ion battery manufacturers.
So why is the battery materials industry developing so strongly?
Predominantly because China holds three cost advantages that make it deals as a local to produce lithium-ion battery materials. Plenty of available land, a large, cheap, skilled labor force, and proximity to a cluster of upstream and downstream industries. China has both an abundance of iron and raw material resources, and large consumer electronics and alternative energy vehicle industries. So producing lithium-ion battery materials here makes sense from a financial perspective.
Okay, could you explain in a bit more detail why the development of these lithium-ion battery materials industries will help China's lithium-ion battery manufacturers?
There are two main advantages. First, producing these materials in China will lower production costs for China's lithium-ion battery manufacturers. As we can see from this chart, cathode materials, electrolytes, and separators account for a significant proportion of the production cost of the lithium-ion battery. So lowering the cost of these materials will give Chinese enterprises a cost advantage over their international rivals. Secondly, according to CCM's research, the development of these materials industries should unlock the technological bottlenecks currently holding back Chinese lithium-ion battery industry. As a result, Chinese manufactured lithium-ion batteries will both catch up with the international competition in terms of quality and gain a cost advantage over them. Although they will remain slightly behind the most advanced products on the international market, they will be cheaper while performing adequately.
Okay, great. So let's take a closer look at each of these lithium-ion battery materials industries. What is the situation in the electrolyte industry?
Production of the most representative material used is electrolyte, lithium-ion phosphorate, or we can call it LiPF6. It's developing strongly in China. And because of the obvious cost advantage China enjoys over Japan and South Korea, China's market share continues to increase rapidly. Indeed, in 2013, global market capacity for lithium-ion battery electrolytes was 70,000 tons, while total sales of Chinese electrolyte enterprises total approximately 31,000 tons. Means that China now accounts for more than 50% of global lithium-ion battery electrolyte market. Here we can see some of main Chinese electrolyte producers. China has clearly become an important new force in the global LiPF6 industry supply chain in recent years and has expanded its production capacity rapidly. However, this has caused overcapacity problems, and since 2011, LiPF6 prices has been falling steadily. This has even forced some small-scale factories in Japan and stopped production LiPF6.
So has this caused similar problems for Chinese LiPF6 producers?
Not to the same extent. The reason for this, according to some industry insiders we spoke to, is that production costs for Chinese LiPF6 enterprises are lower than their overseas competitors. So even though the price of LiPF6 has fallen a long way in the last 3 years, it is still acceptable to many Chinese enterprises.
So do you think that China will continue to dominate the LiPF6 market?
Yes, I think there are several reasons to be optimistic about Chinese LiPF6 industry. On the one hand, LiPF6 production technology is still maturing in China, and China is speeding up its LiPF6 industrialization process. Furthermore, Chinese will maintain its cost advantage in fluoride chemical raw materials. So even if LiPF6 prices stay low, profit margin should still be acceptable to Chinese manufacturers. And now that demand for LiPF6 is increasing due to the rapid development of downstream industries, such as alternative energy vehicles and energy storage industries. Several Chinese enterprises are already making aggressive plans to further expand their production capacity and grab a larger market share, as you can see.
Okay, what about the cathode materials industry? Do things look as promising there as in the electrolyte industry?
The cathode materials industry also appears to have bright prospects. Yes, according to statistics, in 2013, China produced about 48,000 tons of lithium-ion battery cathode materials, just under 50% of total market share. This includes both mainstream cathode materials such as lithium cathotate, lithium manganate, and lithium iron phosphate, and the new development ternary cathode material, lithium nickel manganate cobaltate. Lithium cobaltate is currently the most popular cathode material among Chinese manufacturers, accounting for over 50% of total output. But according to industry sources, ternary cathode materials will soon become increasingly popular due to their low cost and high energy density. Indeed, one ternary cathode material preparation technology has matured and the relevant patent applications have been approved. Ternary cathode materials such as lithium nickel manganese cobaltate are expected to become the mainstream cathode materials for power lithium-ion batteries.
Sure, and what about the separators market?
A power lithium-ion battery requires a large number of separators, so the fast growth of the EV market is great news for the separators industry. Before 2010, the key technology needed to manufacture high-end lithium-ion battery separators was monopolized by American and Japanese companies. But after 4 years development, Chinese enterprises succeed in mastering the technology. By 2013, Chinese production of separators have reached 212 million meters squared, approximately about 12% of global output.
And how do you see this market developing?
One trick I believe we are very likely to see is the increasing use of PVDF coat separators. PVDF coat separators are more expensive than common separators, but their increasing resistance to high temperatures makes them much better suited to use in power lithium-ion batteries. As energy storage levels in power lithium-ion batteries increase, there is a risk that the internal temperature of storage level in power lithium-ion battery increase. This is a risk that the internal temperature of these batteries will rise to a high level, causing traditional separators to smell and possibly cause a short circuit. Coating separators in PVDF is the simplest and the most cost-effective way to avoiding this problem. Here are some major Chinese separator manufacturers. Sina has supplied 8123 System Company and LG Electronic Company with its production, while Changzhou Mingzhu Company has successfully become a supplier for BYD Company. As these domestic separators manufacturers develop in terms of performance and technology, they will have ambitions to become international suppliers with competitiveness regarding cost effectiveness.
Okay, that's fantastic, Jeff. So just looking at the broader picture, how do you see China's lithium-ion battery industry developing over the next few years?
Well, we expect that Chinese government to continue implementing policies to encourage related downstream industries, such as the EV industry. Additionally, domestic lithium-ion battery manufacturers enterprises will continue to increase investment, and this will stimulate the development of the entire Chinese lithium-ion battery industry. CCM believes that in the optimistic atmosphere created by fast-growing downstream market demand, more and more Chinese lithium-ion battery enterprises will invest in developing lithium-ion battery materials technology, which will boost Chinese cost advantage in lithium-ion batteries. Therefore, thanks to cost advantage, we expect the global lithium-ion battery industry to gradually transfer production to China, which will further promote the development of Chinese lithium-ion battery industry. As a result, China's lithium-ion battery industry will play an ever more important role in the international market. All the information contained in this webinar comes from CCM's China Lithium-ion Battery e-News. Now, let's have a brief introduction of this. Chinese Lithium-ion Battery e-News, an electronic journal published online by CCM, appears on this link. It includes 10 to 12 topics in one monthly issue, aimed to grasp the latest information, dig up the hottest issues in China, and give you remarkable insight into Chinese lithium-ion battery industry. Particularly, the topics will involve our market information, specific counterpart dynamics, governmental policies, etc. CCM hopes to play a role in your strategic adjustment regarding material requirements and acquisitions, business development, and other in China.
Great. Thanks very much, Jeff, for that. And again, keep that in mind as you're reviewing both the PowerPoint presentation when you download it. I'm sure you'll want to review the information. I know we covered a lot of detail in this presentation. We tried not to give it too much detail, but I think it's necessary to give the subject a good treatment. And of course, we want to thank you very much for attending tonight, or I guess it's not tonight for some of you. It's evening for us here in China, but I think it's probably morning or mid-morning for some of you on the call. So yeah, we just want to thank you for your attention during this webinar. And again, feel free to contact us anytime. The email that we gave earlier, econtact@cnchemicals.com. And of course, you can also send an email if you want to get a free sample of the China Lithium-ion Battery e-News, which is the e-journal that we mentioned earlier. Just send an email to that email that you see on the screen, event@cnchemicals.com, and we'll send you out a free sample of that publication right away. So thanks very much for your attention this evening or this morning, depending on where you are, and we hope to make contact with you and hear from you soon. Thanks very much. Have a good day.